Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जोर से बोलना है, लाउडली. जय राधा माधव राधे. जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा सुभद्रमाय जय सुदर्शना. जय बलदेवा सुभद्रमाय. जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय. जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद. निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Hare Krishna, welcome all of you for the Sunday Love Feast program. Just to understand, how many of you new to this class? कितने लोग नए हैं? बहुत सारे लोग new. Okay, how many of new about भगवत गीता? कितने लोग भगवत गीता के बारे में जानते हैं? बाकी सारे किसी को भी भगवत गीता के बारे में, यू डोंट नो अबाउट भगवत गीता? व्हाट इज भगवत गीता? रेस्ट ऑफ द पीपल, डू यू नो अबाउट भगवत गीता? एनीवन हु डजंट नो भगवत गीता? अदर वे अराउंड. ओके, एवरीवन नोस व्हाट इज भगवत गीता, राइट? होप एवरीवन हैव द भगवत गीता in any one of the language, English, Telugu, Hindi, right? That's good. If anyone doesn't have, please take it. So we have to have the Bhagavad Gita in our home for sure. Okay, try to be silent, and I request the Matajis take care of your children, and so that they won't do a lot of noise, because it distracts me and also your concentration. Basically on Sunday we have the Bhagavad Gita class at 11:30 in English. So we will continue to discuss in English the Bhagavad Gita, and we are discussing about the 8th chapter. Okay, and in 8th chapter today we are going to discuss 17th shloka. Okay, so 8th chapter name is Attaining the Supreme. Okay, so getting the God, I mean reaching out the God, accepting the God. So we'll read the shloka, but before going into this 17th shloka, so I will give you a brief introduction of the previous shloka, because what we discussed earlier, if we don't know, for at least the people who attended this program, if they don't know, and then it is very difficult to continue, right? It's a 1 week gap. Monday to Saturday we have done a lot of things in our lives, so to recall them and remember them, it is very difficult. So 8.16 says, Abrahma bhuvanalloka punaravrittinorjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So, in this material world we have 4 main problems, right? Do you know what is the... Actually, आज अभी 11:30 बजे चलने वाला क्लास है, वो इंग्लिश में रहता है, बाकी सारे दिन हिंदी में ही चलता रहता है, ठीक है? और शाम को आप आ जाएगा तो हिंदी में सुन सकते हैं, सुबह भी हिंदी में बहुत सारे चलता रहता है. आज क्योंकि बहुत सारे वर्किंग पीपल रहते हैं, उनके लिए ये इंग्लिश में रखा हुआ है. थैंक यू. So we have 4 main problems, which is birth, death, old age and disease, right? And in this shloka, Krishna is telling that Abrahma bhuvanalloka, there are 14 planetary systems. How many? 14. Out of 14, highest planet is Brahmaloka. Okay? We are in the middle. This is a Bhuloka, right? We are on the earth. And above there are Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, Janoloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka, which is called as Brahmaloka. And above that the Vaikuntha Loka will be there. And below this earth, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala Loka. So what Krishna is mentioning here, if you travel until Brahmaloka or any other planetary systems, there will be birth and death for sure. There is no possibility that you escape from the death. Anyone have the guts to say that I will be excused by the death? Is there any possibility? No, right? Everyone will go with birth, death, right? Old age and disease. There is no chance. We can see in the hall, there are small kids, right? And they grow up. There are youth also there and middle age. And we go towards the old age and disease comes in. And at the end, we have to go with the death, right? So, what Krishna is saying here in this sloka is, until Brahmaloka, if you travel, okay, there is a possibility how to travel in different lokas. In the Vedas, it is clearly mentioned. In the olden days, the rishis used to understand the knowledge and they used to travel. But in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult. We are not even able to travel between the countries. It's very difficult, right, for us? But there is a procedure to follow, and so that we can reach out to the different lokas. So wherever you go, there will be death for sure. So we should not think that, okay, if I go to Brahmaloka, I will be happy and I will continue my life. No, there is no possibility. Okay, you understand the point? So that was the mention here. And from here we'll take to the next sloka. In next sloka, we try to understand the time. Krishna is saying about the, different planetary systems, but at the same time, what kind of time is there? Okay, we wanted to travel with the time, right? There is in the olden days, like there is one movie. What is that? Aditya 360 369. So there, if you go and click on the button, you can go to the past, you can go to the future, right? Few minutes back, few hours back, something like that. Do you want to travel into that? Time traveling. Okay, we try to understand briefly about the time in the next sloka, and from there we understand the importance of the time, at the same time importance of the human form of life. Okay, we'll read the next sloka now and then we'll continue our discussion. So you can repeat after me. Sahasrayuga paryantam. You are able to see? You want me to increase the size? Now you are able to see? Right? Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratravido janah. Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratravido janah. Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratravido janah. Anyone wants to repeat? Yes. Sahasrayuga paryantam Sahasrayuga paryantam paryat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratravido janah. Anyone? Madhuri. Sahasrayuga paryantam yad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratravido janah. Anyone else? Mataji? Sahasrayuga paryantam ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratravido janah. Okay. So we'll read the translation. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma. Please listen carefully and see the text so that you can understand a bit in the text itself. Okay? The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in the cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 17,28,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced and this yuga lasts 12 lakhs 96,000 years. Okay, you are traveling with the time now. Okay, in the Dwapara Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, while increasing in this yuga last 8 lakhs 64,000 years. Okay, and finally in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent, and this yuga lasts for 4 lakhs 32,000 years. See how big it is. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as the Kalki Avatara, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma. 1,000 times one day of Brahma. And the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculations total to 311 trillion and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable, but from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the casual ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course of Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subjected to death according to the law of material nature. So this is, very strong and, systematic information about the time, right? You understood? How many years we have in Kali Yuga? 4,32,000 years. Where are we now? What is the time now? What is the date? (2024), 2025. Okay, but this calculation is wrong. Do you believe it? Because we are reading scriptures, we are reading, Vedas, and we are reading the, Veda Saramsha, Bhagavad Gita. We have to believe it. Okay? We continue to discuss about this. Before going with that, we read our Acharya prayers and then we'll continue with our discussion. You can chant along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Śrī Caitanya-Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya-Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Śrī Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time loudly. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum. Okay, so I will show you some interesting slides. At least those are interesting for me. But let's see how it is interesting for you as well. It's visible? Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, sloka 17, right? So this is the sloka which we are discussing. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form of duration of Brahma's one day. Do you believe that? One day is equal to 1,000 Mahayugas. How many yugas we have? 4. What are those? Very good. So we we know what are the yugas we have, right? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. So these 4 yugas, if we take 4 yugas as one, it is Mahayuga or age, what it is mentioned here. Like that, how many times it needs to repeat? 1,000 times. If 1,000 times repeated, and then Brahma's one day. So for us, how many hours in one day? No, wrong. It's 12 days in a day, right? For day 12 hours and night 12 hours, like that, just a kind of calculation. For Brahma also, this calculation is only for daytime, not for night time. Night time also, it's equal. Again, 1,000 Mahayugas time frame, the night time will be there for Brahma in one day. Do you believe it? How many of you don't believe it? We have to believe it, right? Yeah, for our 24 hours time format is daytime is kind of 12 hours and night time is 12 hours. So for Brahma also, to understand, for Brahma also the 12 hours daytime is equal to 1,000 Mahayugas, right? So we see the details. It's very, mathematic calculation. So I don't want to go into the details of this, but as I asked you, how many of you really believe it? No one raised the hands because we don't want to raise the hands against the God. But we have doubt in our minds. Is this really happens? Is this really happens? Is this possible? Kind of 1,000 Mahayugas in one day of Brahma? We don't believe. Right? Because we wanted to believe only when we experience it. Right? Most of the times if we, if you see and then only you believe it. If someone says some news, then immediately what you will do? Nowadays we search in the YouTube, this news is real or not. Right? We try to understand it by seeing. Then only we believe it. So, as it is said, one day of Brahma is called as Kalpa. This is mentioned clearly in the shloka itself. There is no clear description is needed here, but to understand, one day of Brahma is called Kalpa. And one Mahayuga includes 4 yugas: Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. And one day of Brahma contains 1,000 Mahayugas. And one night of Brahma also similar. So what will happen when the day of Brahma comes in and goes off? As we were discussing, we are not in the 2025 actually. According to this calculation, we are in the 5,125 years. Okay? How many years? 5,125 years. Actually, this 2025 is calculated as AC BC, right? You know what is AC and BC? What is that AC and BC? Yeah, after Christ and before Christ, right? That is the calculation. That means there is something is already there before Christ. Why we are not calculating that? We have to calculate that also, right? Only we are not able to recognize or remember these calculations. 4,32,000 Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga is 8,64,000, Treta Yuga is 12,96,000. Hare, these many years, how we can calculate? That is the reason we simplified and we try to follow someone else. But actually we are in 5,125 years after completion of the Dwapara Yuga. Even it is, before Dwapara, how many years it is mentioned here? 8,64,000 years. So before this Kali Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga was there. During Dwapara Yuga, Krishna descendants, right? Krishna came to this material world. Why God came to this material world? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyudhanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Where the bad people increases, the Krishna wants to re-establish the dharma. That is the reason he descends to this material world, right? So Dwapara, before that Treta Yuga is also there. During the Treta Yuga, Rama Avatara came, and Kruta Yuga, there are many avatars, Lakshmi Narasimha Swami and other avatars. So this calculation is clearly mentioned in the purport of the Srila Prabhupada. So we try to understand what each yuga contains. Now you understand, right? We are in 5,125 years. We are traveling with the time, and earlier the Dwapara Yuga was there and it passed, right? And there is also one more yuga is also there. And even that is the clear mention about these yugas, where we are now in the one day of Brahma. Okay, his 51 year is running now. How many is turned into 51? He is turned into 51. Brahma's age is 51. In 51 year, one day, in the starting of the day, we are in the afternoon. That's the calculation, which is clearly mentioned in the Vedas. So we are in each, this one day we have 14 manus. And out of that we are in the 7th manu, Vaivasvata Manvantara. So what is this Manvantara? This Manvantara is called as Vaivasvata Manvantara. Okay? So here it is mentioned, I think, right? Brahma has elapsed, so far 50 years is turned, and 1 days of Brahma, 51 year Brahma, Shveta Varaha Kalpa is in progress. Shveta Varaha Kalpe, Vaivasvata Manvantare, Kali Yuge, Pradhama Pade, we are in the first part of the Yuga. So we try to understand. Satya Yuga is characterized by virtue, wisdom and religion. There is being practically no ignorance. Everyone is perfect in the Satya Yuga. Do you think they are perfect? No. As human beings, there are many other bad qualities, but most of the good qualities were there. But the dharma was there in the Satya Yuga or Kruta Yuga. Okay. And the Treta Yuga, the dharma is decreased a bit. Right? And coming to the Dwapara Yuga, again, that quarreling is increased. Right? And if you try to understand this, during the Satya Yuga, the bad people used to be in the other planetary systems. They're not in the same planets. So it's a kind of different planetary systems. And the bad people next yuga came into the same planetary system. For example, Ramavatara, Ravanasura, they are in the same planet, right? And coming to the Dwapara Yuga, the bad qualities and the people came into the same house. Kauravas and Pandavas are, they are brothers actually, but they are quarreling each other. But in Kali Yuga, what happened is bad qualities entered into our heart. So the demon is within us only. You understood? You believe it? We are all having the demon qualities in the Kali Yuga. The people are having the more demoniac nature. Because do you believe any person who is sitting beside you? In many cases we don't believe, right? It's very difficult to believe our family members itself sometimes. That is the situation now we are in Kali Yuga. So that is kind of, the yuga is, every yuga, the dharma is decreasing, and now we are in Kali Yuga. So what we try to understand now is the only way to understand or believe is seeing. We always think that we see and then only we believe, right? As we were mentioning. If I see and then I believe. That is our intention. Almost every time if I ask you, have you seen God? No, right? But do you still believe? Yes. Yes. Most of the people believes in God. But there is always one question runs in the mind. I am doing these many, sacrifices, but still God is not visible for me. So what should I do? How can I understand and see the God? It's very difficult to see the God, right? So seeing is believing. It's a question mark. If you see the slide, you are able to see the slide, right? Seeing is believing? No. Most of the times, whatever we see, it's false. Actually, most of the times we feel this is true, but it becomes false. As we feel that I am this physical body, but I am not this physical body, I am soul. You cannot see the soul. But you have to believe because we are very active, right? If the soul leaves this physical body, what happens? This physical body becomes dead. But we feel, no, I want to see the soul, then only I believe. That is our motto all the time. But it's not possible to see most of the things. Okay. So, I will go to the next one. Seeing is believing. Okay, the question. We may get question, does this knowledge mentioned in the Vedas is real and exist? Whatever we calculated, Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, and these many years, you are all, mentioning these things, but is this really exist? Okay, we try to understand this with couple of examples. Have you seen during the rainy season, in the nights, there are flying termites, some creatures which come from the earth, right? And they rotate around the light. Have you seen? How many of you seen that? If you are in villages, I am not sure in the cities it might be difficult sometimes, but in the village when we used to sleep in the nights, if rain comes in, then obviously what happens? The termites comes out of the earth and they rotates around the light. They are rotating, we ignore and we go to sleep, and next day morning what we'll do? We wake up and what we see? All the termites are fallen on the ground. They are dead. Right? If we as a soul, just we try to enter into the termite's body, okay, and understand, if someone says to termites that there are human beings, they are having the lifetime of 100 years, अरे ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? I'm staying here for few hours and someone is telling that the human beings are having 100 years lengthy time. For termite it is very big, right? It is dying in the night. You are getting my point, what I am saying? No or yes? I am still see question mark faces. There is a termite which is having very little lifetime. If we think, if we ask the termite and if we tell to the termite that, you imagine that it is understanding our language, and if you say there are 100 years lifespan for the human beings, does it accept it? No. I know this exists only one night. After that it won't be there. As we say, if I die, everything is finished. That also says the same. Similarly, we are having 100 years as human, natural calculation, human calculation, 100 years. But Brahma is having more. In one day itself, it is having many days. We have to believe it. Similarly, in the termite and human beings, it's a variation of 100 years. And for us, and Brahma's one day is this big and huge and fantastic variation. We have to believe. Okay, why we need to believe? I will tell you the next things also. And there are few examples. How many of you see air? Air? Anyone see? But do you believe that air is exist? Right? No, why you are saying that the air is there? I don't see. Air is not there. I can say that. You are saying air is there. How it is possible? Because you can experience that with your skin, touch. Right? The fan blows the air and it touches our skin, and then we feel that relaxed. Right? That means there is air. Fans are rotating. Does the fan is giving air? No, right? Fan is not giving air. Fan is only rotating the air which is existing in the sky. Hope you are getting my point. Okay? Try to listen carefully, and so that we get the concept of this sloka and concept of the Vedas. Okay? So, similarly we cannot see the air, but we can experience that with our skin. So one sense is having, sense organ, eyes cannot see the air, but our skin is able to experience that. And until, I am taking one more example. How many of you seen the microscope in the schools? Right, we have microscopes. Do they exist before? Someone invented that, right? Microscopes are invented by someone. In 1590s, just I try to identify the information. 1590s, some spectacle maker, he invented microscope. Until that moment, humans are not able to see or understand the biology, behind the microorganisms. You can see the picture here, right? This example I have explained you, the termites and the microscopes. You can see in the beginning the microscopes were there. We can see, or we are able to identify the genetical structure of the COVID. How many of you seen the COVID as a microorganism? No one, but we experienced, right? And the scientist says this microorganism is having this kind of genetical structure. It is spreading very fast. Try to take the medicine. So I wanted to make a point over here that until the microscope is not invented, the microorganisms are exist, but we were thinking that it is not there, right? Until microscope is invented, we were thinking no microorganisms are there, only human beings, animals, which we can see. We were in the mood of seeing is believing all the time. But after that, the microscope invented, and we are able to see the small microorganisms. Even if I open, or if I see my if I see microscope with this one, my skin, I also find many microorganisms on my skin, right, as per science. Sorry. So, yeah, like that, microorganisms what exist everywhere, but we don't see that. Doesn't mean that those are not exist. That means our eyes are not perfect at all. We see in the night to the sky, we can see some stars, but not all. That doesn't mean those stars only exist, the rest of the stars are not there. There are many stars. We cannot see what is happening outside of this building, but there are many things are happening around us. So that means our eyes are not at all perfect. You agree with this point? Okay, then we move on. So that way we can understand the Brahma calculation and the human form of life and the soul and everything. Okay, I will take couple of more examples and interesting story. Okay, and especially whenever we are discussing about the scriptures, Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, and the scientists or non-believer says that all this is trash, science is perfect, right? Most of the people who are into the science, they may make a point that science is real and rest of the things, whatever this God, scriptures, all this is a kind of making the money or something like that. There is a possibility that they make a statement of that. But if you observe, the science is always keeps on changing, right? It always keeps on changing. We have a lot of hybrid technologies came in. We have to upgrade the science all the time. Do you think in 1970s or 60s, whatever the textbooks are there for the schools, the same textbook exists today? No, right? It's completely changed. If we ask anyone why it is changed, because science is upgraded. That is what the answer, right? Science is not upgrading. Science is still there. But we are identifying one by one after the other, and we are trying to upgrade the documents and the papers and the books. But if you observe the Bhagavad Gita, Puranas, Itihasas, they don't change at all. If you read today the Bhagavad Gita, if you read after 100,000 years, it's still same. Do you agree with my point? Right? If you agree, and then we have to say loudly, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we try to understand a bit. Okay, so science is always upgrading, but the Vedas, there is no need of upgradation. The science which is there in Bhagavad Gita, in 700 slokas, everything is perfect and applicable today. Even in the past, in Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga, wherever you go, it is applicable and 100% perfect. You read it and understand that, because soul is there, yes, birth, death, old age and disease is there. That will be there forever. Anyone said that I conquered the death, big hospitals there? No, right? No, it's not possible. We only try to manipulate and try to make our lives bit easier, but at the same time we are making complicated also. So I will try to tell you one story, and once at 12:30 the darshan opens. Try to spare 5-10 minutes more so that I can give proper conclusion at the end, so that we go out from this class with a right knowledge. So as I said, spiritual this one doesn't changes. We can understand with a simple story. I think many of us know there are even people in this earth, they don't have any communication, right? In the remote areas, in the forests, right? If you see in the picture, you can see this person in the bottom, right? You are able to see that? Is it clear? So he's staying in, in the forest. He don't have any communication. He doesn't have, the biggest maya of the smartphone. No, he's very happy with whatever he is getting in the forest, and he is eating and sleeping. He doesn't know anything. Even he doesn't know about the birth, death, old age, disease, the scriptures, nothing. But he's surviving his life in the forest, right? So one day what happened? Just I'm, trying to make you understand. It's a kind of fictitious, okay? There is a flight going on the air. From the flight, there is a radio fall down on the nearby his house in this tent. And then he afraid, what is this, this device, Then he took that radio and he tried to touch that, because he don't know that kind of, that is a kind of foreign element for him. He was touching, and then he touched the power on button and started singing, maybe Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Might be this bhajan is singing there in the radio, but he don't understand this. He never listened to this kind of language. His language is completely different. Then he thought it is a witch. Witch? What? Bhoot. Arey, bhoot kidhar se aaya? Immediately he placed it there. But he is immediately the other people also came around, and they are looking at the witch. And then one of the senior person came in. No, we have to kill this witch. What they did? Put the radio on the floor, like many times they hit, and then it was giving sounds. We see that, right? Radio gives some flashy sounds. Like that it is coming, and the person says, no, it's still not died. You hit very hard. They took, and it makes sound and keep quiet. And then he says that which is died. Is that mean that radio doesn't exist? Radio gives lot of nice songs, lot of knowledge, but he doesn't know that it is an invention of the humankind to communicate with the people. Radio is one of the invention to communicate with the people. But the person who got that, he doesn't know. That doesn't mean the radio or the technologies doesn't exist. Similarly, we cannot understand with our material senses about the God. That doesn't mean the God doesn't exist. That doesn't mean whatever the Gita is explaining is not exist. We have to upgrade ourselves, our knowledge. Okay, you understand this story? Or you want to know what happened after that? It's a kind of, the information which we understand from this story is that if you understand, then only it exists. If I don't see or if I don't understand, that doesn't exist. No, it is not like that. The scriptures are very, powerful. Okay, so we'll move on, and to understand the Vedas, what is the best way? What is the best way to understand the scriptures? As I said, seeing is believing. No, not at all seeing is believing. What we can do to understand. So, in the Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dhasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, respectful worship, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord, like this. There are 9 types of bhakti. In that it starts with Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam means hearing. If you hear to Krishna's pastimes, and then you understand God. As we were experiencing the air with the skin, only skin can experience the air. Similarly, we can experience the God only by hearing and doing the kirtan. There is no other way with the material plane we are in, with the situation where we are in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to see the God with your blunt eyes, where you cannot see anything, but you are expecting, you want to see the God. What's a big foolish question we have in our mind. So you can experience by hearing and chanting. I will give you a couple of examples so that you can understand. Father and mother relationship with the baby. You know, there is one parents and they got a new baby born into their family. They are very happy. Okay. The baby was crying, and when the mother takes her or him into the lap, and she stops crying, right? That we see most of the times, right? Why? Because that is a kind of biological connection with the baby. So the baby understands she is my mother by default, right? And then if father takes the baby, if she is crying, does she stops crying? No, for few days it is not possible. But what mother does, mother keeps on introducing, he is your father, he is your father, he is father. Then she starts recognizing the father. What is the pramana about the father? There is no kind of, I think only in rare cases, Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai Sudarshan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay, bear me with 5 more minutes, I try to conclude. So, as mother is introducing about the father, as he is your father, he is your father, and then the baby starts believing it. And the baby starts calling as father, and some threat is there, she runs and hugs the father. Right? There is no other rule, other, seeing is believing kind of thing. How she is believing? How is the baby believing? With the words of the mother. As, these Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and the scriptures which are given to us by the Rishis is our mother, Veda Mata. If Veda Mata is saying something, what we have to do? We have to believe it. That's it. There is no, genetical, scientific proof is needed. If you are thinking in that way, that means your thinking itself is wrong. As in mother and father's relationship, right? If you wanted to go with the genetical testing to prove your father-mother relationship, it's a big mess in our heads, right? Which is running very bad thinking. Similarly, if we are not accepting the Vedas, and that means we are not accepting our mother. So, in the similar way, how to understand this? There is a cow dung which is very pure. Do you see any animal's dung, shit is touched? No. But we, nowadays even in the Amazon also we get the cow dung. We order and we take it as very purified thing. Where it is mentioned? It is mentioned in the Vedas that it is pure. You use it for many purposes. It's a chemical and scientific reasons also revealed that the cow dung is very pure and it's having scientific this thing. Right? We have to believe it. No doubt at all. And everyone is believing cow dung is pure. All over the world. It's not, you, me, we are Indians and that is the reason we are believing. No. Everyone is believing that. Because the Vedas are mentioned it. And it's scientifically proven. So, what is the final conclusion point in this discussion is, you understand, we have 4 yugas. Okay, each yuga have some dharma to reach out to the God. Krute yadhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makhehe Dvapare paricharyayam kalau tad hari kirtanat. No? The meaning of this shloka is, in Satya Yuga, the people used to reach to the God by meditating, because they used to have 1 lakh years. You have to believe it. They used to live for 1 lakh years. In that 1 lakh years, they used to meditate for the God for hundreds and thousands of years, and then try to reach out to the God. Dhyayato, krute yad dhyayato Vishnuhu, tretayam yajato makhay. They used to, in the Treta Yuga, they used to offer the Havan, they used to do the Yajna to reach out to God. And in the Dwapara Yuga and Treta Yuga, it used to be 10,000 years, their age. They used to live for 10,000 years. Anyone wants to live for 10,000 years? No, right? Why? Because we are in Kali Yuga and it's very difficult. Every day is becoming very difficult for us. Many distractions, many problems, every moment. Padam padam yat vipadam. It's very difficult to manage this life. Many expectations from the society, people, father, mother, students are suffering with a lot of distress, and everyone is distressed. So that is the biggest problem. And the Dwapara Yuga, it is mentioned in the Vedas that do deity worship. You think that the God exist in the deities and do lot of services to him. Giving bhoga to Krishna and giving lot of opulent. You can see how beautiful our deities Radha Madhav and Gaur Nitai, Jagannath, Baldev, Subramanya. We were doing a lot of these things, but at the same time we may get a doubt: is really God exist in the deities? Because we are in Kali Yuga, so we have a lot of questions in our mind. So that is the reason Vedas, what they said. In Kali Yuga, what we have to do? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, in the age of Kali Yuga, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam Kalau, Nastyeva, 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 Gatiranyada. There is no other way, only hearing and chanting. Everyone, what we have to do? You have to take the bead bags and take out the beads and chant and be happy. Okay, that is the only solution we have in this Kali Yuga, and so that we continue our lives with more happiness. Okay, that is our Brahma Bhuvana Loka, and this Loka also discusses about the fantastic lifetime span of the Brahma, but better we try to understand that, better we understand this. It's very easy way of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone have any comments on this or questions? One question maybe, so that we can conclude and we continue. Hare Krishna. Why God made it very easy to reach out to the God, right? We have our time span as very less, 100 years. In 100 years we are distracted, that is a kind of, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance. These all qualities are diminished in this yuga, right? We don't have capacity to do yajna, we don't have capacity to do all other things. So God is created a simple way, and so that you take Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting and reach out to the God, right? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your patience. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.